Enthalpy. The enthalpy, the symbol is H. First, you must know what is enthalpy. A sum of internal energy and product of the pressure and volume of a thermodynamic system is called enthalpy. The enthalpy is equal to H is equal to E plus PV. Here E is the internal energy, P is the pressure and volume, H is the enthalpy. So the symbol is H. We know that heat is absorbed at constant volume is equal to the change in the internal energy, that is delta U is equal to QV. So but most of the chemical reactions are carried out not at constant volume but in flask or test tubes under constant atmospheric pressure. So we need to define another state function which is maybe suitable under this condition. First, already we know that the delta U is equal to Q plus W. Here W is a work done. Now delta U, that is delta U, change in the internal energy, QP minus P delta V. Then here at constant pressure, where the QP is a heat absorbed by the system and minus P delta V is expansion work done. This is the work done. Work done by the system. See, let us represent the initial state by the subscript of 1 and final state by 2, so that we can rewrite the equation U2 minus U1 is equal to QP minus P volume, that is V2 minus V1. So on rearranging, we get the QP is equal to U2 plus P V2 minus then U1 plus P V1. So that is now we can define another thermodynamic function, that is enthalpy. H is equal to what? H is equal to U plus PV. The internal energy, sometimes we may write U or E, whatever it is. So this indicates internal energy. So H is equal to U plus PV. Then write this, substitute this equation in this formula. QP is equal to what? Enthalpy, that is final, that is H2 minus H1, that is called change in enthalpy, that is delta H. Although Q is a path function, that is the path dependent function, H is the state function. So this is the path function, this is the state function, because it depends on U, that is internal energy, P and volume, that is V. So all of which are state function, therefore the delta H is independent of path. So hence the delta QP is what? Also the independent of the path. So finite changes constant pressure, we can rewrite, that is this equation we can rewrite, that is delta H is equal to delta U plus delta PV. Since the pressure is constant, so that we can write delta H is equal to delta U P delta V. So it is important to know that when heat is absorbed by the system at constant pressure, we are actually measuring the change in the enthalpy. So already remember that the delta H is equal to what? QP. So heat absorbed by the system at constant pressure. So the delta H is negative for exothermic reaction, which is evolved heat during the reaction, and the delta H is positive. So that delta H is equal to positive for the endothermic reaction, which absorb heat from the surrounding. So at constant volume, so delta V is equal to 0. So delta U is equal to QV. Then we can rewrite that equation, that is delta H is equal to delta U is equal to QV. So the difference between the delta H and the delta U is not usually significant for the system consisting of only solids and or liquids. The solids and liquids do not suffer any significant volume changes upon heating. The differences become significant when gases are involved. So, suppose let me consider the reaction involving gas, that is VA is a total volume of the gaseous reactant, VB is total volume of the gaseous product. So, here NA, that NA is a number of moles of the gaseous reactant and the number of moles of product for the gaseous gaseous product, that is moles of the gaseous product at all constant pressure and the temperature. So we can use the ideal gas equation. So ideal gas equation, P VA NA RT. Simply we know that is PV is equal to nRT. So here PVA is equal to NA/RT. Similarly for PVB is equal to NB/RT, reactant and the product. So thus we can rewrite this VB minus PVA is equal to NB/RT minus NA/RT. So factorizing, you will get that as NB minus NA into RT. Similarly, in terms this side also you can write PVB minus VA. So that now R you can write P delta V is equal to delta NG RT. So the delta Ng is number of moles of gaseous product minus the number of moles of the gaseous reactants indicated. So substituting the value of P delta V from, that is in this equation, so you will get delta H delta U is equal to delta U plus delta Ng RT. So this is this equation useful for calculating the delta H from delta U and vice versa. Okay, students. Then the extensive and the intensive properties. Extensive and intensive properties. So in a thermodynamic, there is distinction made between the extensive properties and the intensive properties. First, an extensive properties is a property whose value depends on the quantity or size of matter present in the system. Example: mass, volume, internal energy, enthalpy, heat capacity, like this. So these are the extensive properties. Then the properties which do not depend on the quantity or size of the matter present on the system is called, that is, intensive property. Example: temperature, pressure, density. So like this. So these are the intensive properties. Molar properties, simply we can write like this: psi m. So is the molar property. The value of the extensive property is psi. So the extensive property psi of the system for 1 mole of the substance. So if n is the amount of matter, so that what becomes, that is psi m is equal to psi by n. So it is independent of the amount of matter. So other examples of molar volume of that is Vm, molar volume, and the molar heat capacity. So molar heat capacity. See, that is a distinction between the extensive and the intensive properties by considering a gas enclosed in a container of volume, that is V, the temperature. I will draw one example, that is See, look this diagram, that is V and T, volume and temperature. This is the partition that each part having the half of the volume of a gas. This is a gas at volume and temperature T, that is V and T. Look at this, the partitions at the volume is halved, that is halved. Each part is this. So V by 2 T, and this one half part and this one half part, this is a whole part. So that is now has one half of the original volume, that is V by 2, but the temperature will still remain the same. So that is T. It is clear that the volume is an extensive property and the temperature is a intensive property. Then heat capacity. The heat capacity is subsection, that is now how to measure heat transfer to a system. This heat appears as a rise in the temperature of the system. In case of heat absorbed by the system, the increase of the temperature is proportional to the heat transfer, that is Q is equal coefficient into delta T, change in the temperature. The magnetic coefficient depends on the size, composition and nature of the system. So we can also rewrite, that is we can also write the equation, that is Q is equal to C delta T. We can measure the heat supplied by monitoring the temperature rise, provided we know that heat capacity. So when C is large, a given amount of heat result is only a small temperature rise. So water has a large heat capacity, that is a lot of energy is needed to rise its temperature. So here the C is directly proportional to the amount of the substance. So the molar heat capacity of the substance is equal to what? Cm, molar heat capacity, C divided by N. So it is the heat capacity for 1 mole of the substance, and is quantity the quantity of heat needed to rise the temperature of 1 mole by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin, like this. So this the specific heat, also called specific heat capacity, is quantity of a heat required to rise the temperature of 1 unit mass of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. That is finding out that heat Q required to rise the temperature of a sample, we multiply by the specific heat of the substance, that is C by mass m and the temperature change delta T. So that Q is equal to C into m into delta T is equal to what? C delta T. Okay. Then the relationship between the Cp and Cv. Relationship at constant volume heat capacity, here the C is denoted by Cv, volume Cv, and the constant pressure is Cp. Now find out the relationship between the two. We can rewrite, that is the equation for heat is what? Q. So at constant volume, so that Qv is equal to Cv delta T, it's equal to what? Internal energy, change in the internal energy. At constant pressure, this is at constant volume, at constant pressure, so Qp is equal to Cp delta T is equal to what? Delta H. So the difference between the Cp and the Cv can be derived from an ideal gas equation. So for 1 mole of a ideal gas is equal to, that is delta H is equal to delta U plus delta PV. That means here delta U is equal to delta RT. So it will become what? Delta U plus R delta T. Or we can write, that is therefore the delta H is equal to what? Delta U plus R delta T. On putting the values of delta H and delta U, we have Cp is delta T is equal Cv delta T plus R delta T. This means Cp is equal Cv plus R. That means all the delta T's are removed. Then the Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So this is the relationship between the Cp and Cv. Then next is measurement of delta U and delta H in calorimeter. Measurement of delta U and measurement of the delta H calorimeter. We can measure the energy changes associated with the chemical or physical process by an experimental technique is called calorimeter. That is, in calorimeter, the process is carried out in a vessel called the calorimeter, which is immersed in known as volume of liquid, knowing the heat capacity of liquid in which the calorimeter is immersed and the heat capacity of the calorimeter. So it is possible to determine the heat evolved in the process by measuring temperature changes. So measurements are made under two different conditions, that is at constant volume, that is QV, at constant pressure, that is QP. First, delta U measurement. For a chemical reaction, heat absorbed at constant volume, it's measured in the bomb calorimeter. This is the bomb calorimeter. A steel vessel. First, I will tell you that what are this is stirrers. This OI, this indicates oxygen inlet. FL is firing leads, and this is thermometer. This is O2, oxygen under pressure. This is water, and this is the bomb, and this is the sample. Okay. Then the steel vessel. Look at this. The steel vessel is immersed in the water bath to ensure that no heat is lost to the surrounding. So a combustible substance burned in a pure dioxygen supplied in the steel bomb. Heat evolved during the reaction is transferred to the water around the bomb calorimeter. That is, bomb and the temperature is monitored. So since the bomb calorimeter is sealed, so it does not change. The energy changes associated with the reactions are measured at constant volume. So under this condition, no work there is no work done as the reaction is carried out constant volume in the bomb calorimeter. Even for a reaction involving gases, there is no work done, that is delta V is equal to 0. The temperature change of the calorimeter produced by the completed reaction is then converted to QV. So by using the known heat capacity of the calorimeter with the help of the already we know that the equation as Q is equal to what? QC into M into delta T is equal to C delta T. So Q is equal to C delta T. Using of this equation, we can calculate the delta U. Then delta H measurement. This is the measurement of heat change at constant pressure. That is generally we know that delta H is equal to QP at constant pressure, and therefore the heat is absorbed or evolved. The QP at constant pressure is also called the heat of the reaction or the enthalpy of the reaction. So simply we can write enthalpy of a reaction delta RH. So in exothermic reaction, heat is evolved and the system loses heat to the surrounding. So therefore QP will be negative. That is, QP will be negative, and the delta reaction enthalpy is also be negative. This is also be negative. So similarly in the endothermic reaction, heat absorbed. So QP is this is for exothermic reaction. For endothermic reaction, QP is positive, and the delta reaction mixer enthalpy is also positive. So this is endothermic, and this is exothermic. Okay, and this is the calorimeter for measuring heat changes at constant pressure, that is the atmospheric pressure. This is thermometer, and this is the foamed polystyrene cup. This is the foamed then this is reaction mixer. The next class we will discuss the enthalpy change of a reaction.